Casey always, he was really hard to get a picture on, Casey.
Stu.
Yeah.
It's on.
Well, good, we'll take that picture.
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Big.
Oh, doing that now?
Yeah.
She's leaving.
Oh, okay.
Should work off sleeves or something. Just want to walkway deck. Ronnie Becker down his creek. Put a old elevator. Works pretty damn good, but you want to drive over this more.
The elevator works, just a problem. It's so wide. That old bridge is 6 foot. I'll get in an elevator if you don't have enough in the air, the water, or tree or something catches it, and then you got nothing except scrap iron and thick again.
He had some telephone poles on each side of the. So it wouldn't move. His creek there wasn't getting, I don't think it's as wide as yours, I don't think. It's been a while since I've been back in there.
But the work would be. Was it 66 foot railroads, flatbeds, they're expensive.
You know,
They don't move, they're heavy. I didn't want to ask him, you have to say, well, why not?
or 2 hawks last down. Side by side.
Water can be.
Like that is on, and then once I picked up the phone, because it came up on my screen, I saw it. I was like, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That wants to take a picture with you, go to there.
I didn't get your number.
You're out here, you're out, but that's what they do. Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
These are-
They want to see like, to see like, how she. Yeah.
She's there. Yeah. She was. What we talking about?
I just asked her.
Yeah, minute to load.
So you.
Guess when you do it.
East of here. There's no way we can get. It's cycling, here's the divide.
Hey, can you hear me?
They take those down with us and put them up there.
Yeah. Just leave it there, and then you can pipe the end.
Instead of like that.
Should stay in there, there's something, that's what it is. You know, it- there's such a high.
I didn't say. Are you hearing us there for different all plants in case it shut down, would shut it down? I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Tammy, do you need the projector on? In order for, because the speaker's built in the projector, right?
Want the projector?
Or-
It-
I bet it's going,
it is,
it's going
okay.
through the projector.
Give it-
Yeah, go ahead, sure. Probably a gallon of water per gallon. I think we got there.
I need a line. I need to check it. So how much it was.
When did that happen? Almost 2 weeks ago.
That's good. Check.
You got Derek on through that computer? Okay,
That may be-
okay.
So he was just up there.
Yeah. Yes, there is, that was true. Not right away, so. Want us to be-
We'll start the meeting without it on. Let's stand and do the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public discussion. Who wants to be first? Go ahead, Richard.
Richard Miller, out in Kossuth, or Plum Creek, section 15. Got that road that's been closed for 20+ years. I'd like to put a bridge to get across from one side to the other with my 4-wheeler. I haven't seen a piece of county machinery for 20+ years. I just gonna ask the board here, and then I'll go down and ask at the engineer's office, but I'd like to be able to come back to you guys to see why I couldn't pull it.
Doug's standing right there. Richard wants to put a bridge across the road that we
Close.
closed, so he can get across with his 4-wheeler.
Right to the north of your. If I remember correctly, there was letters sent out to landowners. when we had some-
not a bridge, no, he wants.
Just,
No,
no personal bridge.
on your own property,
No, you guys' roadbed is a lot higher. So it wouldn't take as much art.
would all the adjacent landowners be willing to, vacate the road? That'd be a lot easier, and then it'd all be yours.
Greg Elbert vacate from his last lane to the bridge. The road's been closed for 20+ years.
If we could,
Should
we
let,
could, vacate the road, then it'd all be yours, and then you
Well, they
can
won't
do
do
whatever you want.
Greg won't vacate it from the intersection north down to his last lane. He's gotta have access to his property. But
He doesn't have access from the east-west road? South there?
Not on the north side of that bridge.
you wanna look it up and see what we can vacate?
Plum Creek did.
On
Yeah.
15,
Is that 165th Ave?
correct.
Okay, I was looking it up on the phone here.
Greg Albert's got access from the 160th Avenue.
Not to the north side of his farm. He's got land on the north side of that creek.
Yeah, no, he probably wouldn't.
Well, I mean,
From the aerial, he wouldn't.
wouldn't he be able to use the same bridge you're talking about?
Not with a tractor. He's got a food body plants back in there.
In order, if it's a public road, it's gotta be built to
Hello.
public standards.
But it's a closed road. Not to be.
Yeah, I probably can't. Is that other one not working?
Well,
Well, if we could vacate it,
Yeah.
that would be the best way.
Yeah,
vacate's
I-
not gonna be much of an option though. We have a landowner that has to get to access to his property.
There's access to the property.
There's no access to his property from 160th.
Where the north side of that bridge used to be, Greg's got a driveway.
I understand there's that. There's, I don't know if you're talking about before or after this happened, but fact of the matter is, right now, it's a public road. So in order for anything to happen on a public road, it's got to be done to a public standard. Or these are standards. Now, if it was vacated, then all the rights for roads are no longer with the public. And there are ways that easements can be created so people can drive over other people's property. There are ways that things can happen. But access, because a person does not have a bridge to cross on their own personal property, it doesn't mean they do not have access. They still have rights. They can do whatever they want over that creek. That's not a meandering stream. It's not navigable.
Doug, can you explain the history of this? Like, if it's still a public road, why is it closed?
Well, that's what I was getting at when I first started visiting. At one time, when bridge funds were limited in the nineties, the secondary road department did send letters out to those landowners, and if my memory is correct, Dick wrote back and said that that bridge was only used by one person, and it would be foolish for the taxpayers to put a bridge in that spot. So
So why didn't
the
we?
road department chose not to rebuild that bridge at that time. Shortly after that, years or whatever, the bridge failed when a concrete truck drove over it. It was overloaded. And it's been that way. We had to take the bridge out, obviously, when the bridge was failing.
Doug's memory is not quite accurate.
I think I have the letter. I could certainly go and get it.
We said that the bridge was adequate at that time.
Okay,
You crossed it with a tandem truck loaded with grain.
okay,
Once it failed and they decided to take it out, there was a lot of farmers that came, the pre's that used tandem trucks. Okay, now everything's gone to set, but at the time we said the bridge was adequate. It was serving the purpose. Once they took a bridge out, we have no bridge. There was more, we had meetings in here after that. The Mosleys were in here, the Preeps were in here, and other people were in here saying, yes, we could use a bridge there. It still goes from that side to this side. But if they're not gonna use the road, I would like to be able to put a bridge to get across it. 3 miles around every time I want to go to my property is, it's it shouldn't be when that structure of the road still sits there. And Greg Elper will not vacate because he wants access to his property.
do you know how big of a stream that is? Does it need a bridge or a small box culvert good enough, or?
A half
any
mile
idea?
south, we built a bridge, and I think it was, it was a bridge. If you go a mile to the east, there's a bridge, box culvert, any kind of culvert, I would not. I do not believe hydraulically speaking.
Okay.
Can't do nothing today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we can do anything right now, but any other thoughts or questions from the board?
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Casey,
That's gonna go first.
okay, Mac,
2 weeks ago, when we were at the meeting, there was some discussion with pipeline. Jack, gave a couple
comments about, majority of the people here, needed to trust the supervisors that there was a process being done and work behind the scenes being done for the people of the county. And, there's two pipeline representatives here, and as they were walking out, one of them gives a thumbs up to the board, and there were some gestures from the board members back to that. How do you explain to the public that you guys are on their side and not in cahoots with two pipeline members or representatives that don't even live in this county or pay taxes in this county? I mean, I guess I'm here quite a bit, and I don't give you a thumbs up or a high five when I walk out. Seems a little odd. I just want to bring that to your attention.
I saw it too and didn't know what that meant. He did it twice.
I did not say it. You said there was some board members that gestured back to him,
I don't want.
Response to you.
like one kind of gesture in how.
I said, thanks for coming. Got your back. I'm on your side. And
I know another person up there waited because they didn't know what they're doing. I talked to that person, it was a complete accident, but the other one, all I seen was a head nod,
Of course.
and I seen the guy walking, and I seen him do something with his elbow, and I was kind of like, didn't know what he's doing. And then Matt told me that he gave a thumbs up, watched the tape, but I seen the strict board member up there nod his head. And it's the pipeline navigator, which is in the northern part, was the guy that gave the thumbs up. Because, some that Matt and I spoke, there's only one person here from Navigator, some that was not here last 2 weeks ago.
Well,
Yes, they
I
were.
will just reiterate that we are working, can't go into any details because it's with our attorney. And, we are doing things, we did, last week, we signed on to the,
To that motion.
to the motion to dismiss because of, the language and there, and if that would ever pass, then that would change things drastically. Beyond that, we are working on some other things, but, we are doing things, for the landowners, but we just can't, in the detail on it.
I'm not doubting what you had said in that meeting, 2 weeks ago, Jack, but it just looks a little suspicious.
Well, yeah, if somebody,
Public when that's going on.
yeah, if somebody's gesturing from this board to, yeah, that is inappropriate, I will say that. I guess I didn't see it, but, if that happened, yeah, that is inappropriate, but, excuse me.
Well, since I'm the one being talked about here, I'll address it. I was asked after the meeting if I noticed the thumbs up. No, I didn't. I said, nodded as people were walking out. Common courtesy. Beyond that, had no meaning to me. So whatever thumbs up anyone does, inadvertent, don't really pay attention to it. Simple as that.
I mean, to be fair, we say thank you and wave to a lot of people that walk out of the boardroom, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that.
I don't know. I didn't see any.
Most of the people that come here, come to good account. I guess that's where I see the difference. I just want to bring it to the attention.
It looked, very bad.
Well, it's a very controversial subject.
But when one utilized bucket, that's the one that doesn't, it's.
I also made the motion at that point in time, so I guess my actions, I feel, should speak louder.
Do you have the right to do it? Well, I just, keep it up. I asked a board member and they said, come to a public discussion, bring it up, you get your answers. So that's why I came. I'm not here to pick on you or throw stones at you.
You might not be,
But
but
you answered the question and that's okay.
With every mark being Kyle.
everyone has,
Remember the conduct meeting that 2 weeks ago, Roger said you should watch what you do. Apparently that one then run here right up together.
no, I think it's unfair that you make a comment that you call, listen,
Mr.
I'm,
Chairman, I think we can move on from public
Yeah,
discussion.
We're not gonna go any further on this because it's just combative. Mr. Brian, you got something for open discussion?
No, I don't. I still have one more question. Here for the circus.
Okay. Go ahead, Casey.
Mr. Wacker.
Yes.
The conduct meeting. So I can apologize to this person. You said that I was kind of loud and I startled a lady, which I knew all the ladies that were here. I'd like a name so I could call her and apologize if I did startle her.
I will let you know outside. If you want to contact me, I'll let you know outside. She requested not to have her name brought up in the meeting, so.
Would you step outside, you two, and do that
Yeah,
right now?
yeah.
So that we get it over with in public discussion?
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Road foreman. Got anything that's interesting?
Going away. It's got some rain, so it's blazing roads.
I went over the Big Six Bridge this morning, it's a lot better.
Yeah, it's nice. Didn't show work all at once and stuff, so everything should be up to par for that, so. Come back, do the weeds on one side. So,
Doing the four-way bridge now yet, or
yeah.
Supposed to be starting up this morning.
Plum Creek Road, they're gonna fix that?
That's, I did that yesterday.
Did they? Good. That's done too.
Yes. Did that one yesterday also.
What else have they got?
Vision Bridge right after that, and
Nick Rams.
Yeah. Well,
there's a spot north of Whittemore. There is a box culvert south of Tyke that was replaced by, or a bridge that was replaced in box culvert.
That's right.
Those are the highest priorities that we have.
They started on the bridge yet? South of Tyke?
It has, yes.
Yeah.
Big dog on Sherman 12. So, right, when you get right west of Dave Rivers' place, you guys fix that culvert.
Yes.
So it's, a car and truck, you really don't feel it, but the tractor is really throws it. Just to give you a heads up that they're doing
Okay.
flat top. It'd be on the south side of the road.
Carter, if they want to say something back, sure. I can't see them. You can see them?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I was gonna say, I haven't been north of Sexton the last couple of days. There's a spot in the road there.
Yeah, I put a bucket of rock in yesterday, working process of it.
Okay,
Figuring out how to get repaired.
no, sounds good.
Anything else for the foreman?
I had one thing, out in kind of the Meadow Ridge area, I had someone kind of talk to me about, I believe it's at the end of 190th Street where it kind of hangs right there at Rich Deal's property. Just kind of off that road, they said that there were some rocks that were brought in to kind of even out that area. They said it's a bit more washed out. He went out and cleaned out some of the weeds and stuff that were out there and can see that it's a bit more washed out. I don't know if that would be a secondary roads thing or if that's gonna be something that's gonna be more towards like a drainage district thing.
That's what I have to look at.
Yeah,
Cause that road only goes 190th, only goes so far east,
right.
so.
And it's right about in the area where Rich Deal's property is.
Right, so it may not be the road, and I do not believe that that's a drainage.
Okay,
I can certainly take it.
Okay.
Nothing else? Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
Good day, guys.
Doug, I do have a question for you quick. On the claims, I had seen something with renting trucks and excavators from Reddings.
Pardon me?
On our claims, I had seen something of renting trucks and excavators from Reddings.
Correct.
Was that,
Excavator.
okay, it said truck and excavator.
Well, there's a truck to haul.
Okay, Was that for a specific project or what was that for?
We, up at the Four Corners,
Okay,
there was quite a bit of fill that we used that on, and then also we had south of Lone Rock, we had a large culvert, deep culvert that our own equipment would not work on, so we rented equipment for rentals for that.
Yeah.
I seen it out there and asked the same question. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda and minutes dated June 27th, 2023.
Doesn't necessarily tie in with the agenda and minutes completely, but for the claims and setting the appointments and salaries last night, I realized we don't have resolution for appropriating money
Right.
on this agenda, and I don't think we did it before the fiscal year ended. Do we have to do that before we pay bills and set salaries? Yeah. We've always done it before the end of June for the new fiscal year.
We had an appropriation.
Is it earlier in June?
I saw it's worded like approving the auditor to pay warrants. To pay the bills. That's what.
No, that's the draw warrants and interfund transfers is on there.
Yeah. no,
I've got interfund transfers.
Cause I didn't think we had done that last night when it clicked in my head, and then I looked back the last couple of agendas, I didn't see it. Just wanna make sure we're crossing our Ts and dotting our Is before we do that.
We'll do that then. Well, but
Should we move them to the bottom, and then if we have a break or something, we can double check on that, or?
but.
We can do the minutes here in a minute.
Yeah, the agenda and minutes is fine, but it's the claims and the appointments and salaries that I don't think we can do.
I think we can, but why don't we do it? That's a better.
Okay,
I would entertain a motion to do the regular minutes and the agenda.
so moved.
Motion by Stecker, second by Josh or Carter. Okay, Carter. Any discussion on the June 27th minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. And we have minutes for the June 28th meeting. Is there any discussion on that? I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the June 28th meeting.
They're all together.
You want them all together?
Yeah,
Okay. So that motion passed. Discussion to review and approve claims.
Like this here.
Yep. Take a minute and look at your claims. You haven't done so far.
It's 10.
There's 2 pages, wasn't it?
It's got one.
I got one.
Right there.
Oh,
You got two part of two. Oops. There's just the one place for us to sign these on the couple, right?
Yeah.
did planning and zoning over the meeting? Or about something else? Or there's expenses here with planning, you know, for paper. I was gonna ask. This is variance granted, variance request.
Planning and zoning probably had a meeting.
Could be Board of Adjustment if there's a
Oh,
variance.
well, that'd probably be under there, that wouldn't it be?
I mean, it'd still be under planning and zoning budget, but,
Sure.
it'd be Board of Adjustment.
Oh, okay,
For a variance, I believe.
yeah.
Do you want me to call Doug and ask or?
No,
I think it's just normal operating procedures, Carter.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just didn't know if I missed something.
so.
Ultimately, yeah.
It was like,
Early in, so we can actually look. I never thought about it.
yeah, it was late last night. I was gonna try and mention it before the meeting, then we had the big picture, so I skipped my mind at that point, but
Usually we do that in June, I thought.
yeah, I think it's supposed to be done in June before the fiscal year starts.
Right.
That's why I was concerned about if we pay bills without that. Piece of the
Approval to
puzzle.
draw on the warrants.
No, it's the,
I set that. as
Appropriations.
part of the New business, beginning of the year, we do all that stuff.
Well, we usually approve that earlier
I'll show you from 22
to,
June. Yeah, appropriation resolution and then. Jack, do you wanna come look at this? I'll have it up on the computer here in a second. Roger. This one. This appropriations, this is last year's, this just totaled out. Appropriation resolution. Need, this was last year. I don't think we have that done. But it would have been June 28th of last year. And it's broken down into categories. And
Yep.
all that. Next one's A-bait, so. Page 17 through 19 in the packet. If you're looking that way, Josh.
we haven't done it yet. We're gonna have to do it today, but it's on the agenda. We gotta pay bills.
We can call for an emergency agenda item, can't we?
Yes.
Well, we don't have the resolution prepared.
Well, we can write a resolution there.
If we have to wait and do that at the end of the meeting, that's fine, but
Well, we can. okay
who's
the
gonna write it up?
resolution.
If she's leaving,
We're not gonna run a whole another week without doing,
right,
without paying the bills that we got in front of us and the claims.
Do we want to do the hospital update quick? That's just discussion.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to go ahead?
Yeah, you wanna go ahead?
I'll share what I know from my first 3 days back. So through May, we had an operating margin of 2.55%. So we're in a statewide group with all of the Mercy owned or affiliated like us hospitals. And of those, we are one of 6 that still is showing a positive operating margin throughout the year. The average for all of the rest of the hospitals is about a -4%. So we're doing really well, and this is really just, due to the great group of doctors that we have, and really everything that they take on. In May, we had a really high ER volumes. That's what kind of drove our revenue for that month. Doing well on staffing, looking for a few positions on our 3rd floor, as well as a physical therapy assistant and a lab tech for the weekends. We did on across the board increase here in July. Staffing really continues to remain competitive, and that supplements the market increase that we do every January. Of those 26 hospitals that we are a part of through May, we do have the lowest turnover ratio of them all at 7%. The average is around 19%. And I can't remember the exact amount, but I think the nationwide average is around 70 to 80%. So doing really well there. Our durable medical equipment store is expected to open sometime in August. Just had a slight delay just to get a new employee brought on and trained. So this will be on the 1st floor on the hospital side. And then our senior life solutions program is scheduled to begin at the end of the month. I think we talked about that here before, but that will be a great service to our seniors who just have maybe some depression or anxiety to have a space a few times a week to go to and get group and individual therapy. That's all I have. Any questions?
Well, the minute you come back, that service coverage just popped right back where it should be.
Just
Yeah,
have
how do you explain that?
No, luckily, everything went well and, you know, I come back and we're doing better than ever, so everyone does a good job.
I was kind of surprised to see labor compensation dropped under 55% again.
Yeah, you know, it really is kind of just the timing too of when we do pay when we do pay payroll too, but that will jump again here in July. Once we
Okay.
pay out that increase.
Okay.
How's the new little one doing?
Good, she's good. She's 3 months old and I feel like the second one just knows that they have to be good and not make a beat just because the big one has a lot to say in her and her life has not changed one bit. So it's going good though.
Good. Any other questions?
Is there gonna be somebody from Mason City coming in to do some of the surgeries? If they can find a new surgeon or?
So at the moment, we're actively looking for a new surgeon. However, Dr. Condolian is still going to stay on staff here at Kossuth Regional and
good.
still intends to continue to do exactly what he's been
Good.
doing.
Okay.
At some point, he intends to move to Des Moines and he would just commute back and forth. So,
Okay, good.
so,
Okay,
but looking at, you know, for the future.
yeah, okay, well, that's good.
How's your position going?
Navigating, figuring out new waters, so it's all good.
Really? Haven't had any frustration yet or anything?
See, there's been any frustration, just trying to figure out really what my purpose is, so.
Okay.
And trying to give up some of my old job duties, that's really harder than one thinks, so.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks. for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Got back to me, no, it was approved in June. There was an appropriation, but it was for that $1,000 or whatever. It was not the big appropriation, so thank you for kicking that. So, that's my fault. I apologize. I should have done that in June. It was not on there. So, we will have to do that before we can approve claims. So I can get that done quickly and put together. That's not a big deal, but we'll need to come in sometime this week to do that so we can get our claims paid. So are you guys okay with that?
We can have an emergency resolution put in place so that we can keep acting. I don't see any reason why we can't.
Well, we can, if you want to meet tomorrow afternoon, we can draw set up and post it. Or anytime.
Let's check our calendars.
This week.
I'm working and I'll go on it tomorrow, so that's fine with me.
Okay, like, what about you? Jack, tomorrow afternoon, like,
Morning would be better for me.
okay, we just have to get it posted, so what about if we do like 11 o'clock? We can try to get an agenda put together and post it. Do
That would
11
be
o'clock,
better
does
for me.
that work for you, Roger?
I'll make it work.
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
Can we hold the claims till then?
yes, let's do that. And then we'll do both at 11 as well.
That the claims and the appointments and salaries
Resolution.
and the resolution.
Do you want to move the appointments and salaries to them too, or do you want to do?
I think we should approve that after we have money available.
Okay,
Well, but don't draw on the warrants and internal funds and everything's going to have to be delayed then.
No, because that's
We-
that's authorization to go through the processes, so that, I think that's okay. But I don't think we should make appointments and salaries till we have money available. Yep. For a process. Um, And
We're up to Microsoft.
Yeah, we're up to Derek and he's on
Can you
my
guys, can you guys hear me okay?
Hear you perfectly.
Morning, Derek.
Morning.
Excellent, excellent. Good morning. I've got 3 items on for today. 2 are discussion, and then 1 is actually I need a resolution to sign the contract. First one up is Microsoft Office annual licenses. This is for Word, Excel, Outlook, Access, all those applications that all of our departments use. We have one contract that we purchase off of. When you look at the claim, towards the bottom, you see the breakdown. We had a little less than $2,000 increase this year due to the EMS folks being added. So that's pretty much the same as every year. Any questions on that one?
Doesn't look like anything.
I'll
Okay,
just
excellent.
gain a motion to approve the annual Microsoft Office licenses.
So moved.
Second, Kurt.
Uh,
Josh made the motion, Carter second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. Your next one is the locator license fee.
Yeah, so document locator and the solutions licenses go hand in hand. The document locator license is just about flat there. The solutions license is up a couple thousand. So we've got about 54,000 between those 2 programs. Those are the applications that all of our departments use day in and day out to do their business. So auditor, treasurer, recorder, assessor, all of those departments use those applications every day to provide county business. A few years ago, we did look at moving vendors to another competitor, but the input from staff would be a major change. There's also discussion of that product being less reliable. And the last time we checked, it was 20-25% more expensive. So significant increase in cost for not much value there. So, and again, that's just an annual expense. I do need a signed contract for them, which Tammy should have a copy of for the solutions license agreement. So we do need a signature on that one.
I would entertain a motion to approve. Jack?
I'll second.
Kyle? I have a motion by Jack, second by Kyle to approve the locator license fees. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimous. The next one is your annual license code support agreement.
For solutions, and he already touched on that with it being together. Since they're hand in hand. Is there anything further you had to say on solution?
No, it's a separate claim, so it's a separate invoice for 44,000, but the signature is for the solutions portion of it, not the document locator portion, if that matters.
Well, we have it on the agenda to vote on, so.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
make.
Yep.
Yeah, second, Josh,
Second.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, motion carried unanimous.
Anything else for me, gentlemen, before I drop off?
Enjoy your vacation.
Don't believe
Oh.
so. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Yep.
On your folder, you see cash on hand for June 30th, 2023 for the auditor, recorder, sheriff, and treasurer. Everybody had a chance to look at it? So, any questions? Motion by Jack, second by Carter to approve. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimous.
Great.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Good morning.
Morning.
So as you see, we're on the agenda this morning to approval of official hiring of a new deputy sheriff. This is the position that we advertised starting back in March, went through the process. Just to give you an update, we had 8 applicants. 1 did not show up on the day of testing, so we're down to 7. Of those 7, 4 did not meet the requirements of the civil service testing. 3 failed the written exam and 1 failed the physical exam. So that left us with 3 applicants. We went through the interview process, the background checks. We've completed everything. I actually did 3 interviews of the candidates. The one I include the spouse because I want them to know what they're looking forward to here on the work rotation and make sure their spouses are on board. And we have, are ready to offer the position to a gentleman from Bancroft by the name of Wesley Gibbs. Wesley was one of the 3 candidates that made it through the testing. And we'd like to start him on August 1st. So I need your blessing and approval to go ahead and make that official.
What's his name?
Wesley, Wesley, Gibbs, Gibbs.
I'd make motion to approve hiring him.
Second by Carter.
I
And
actually know him beforehand.
any discussion? Go ahead.
Didn't know he was interested in being a sheriff though.
It used to be about a year ago. Wanted to know if we ever took out applications. So yeah, he's been very interested. He's just give you a little background on Wesley. He's been in the area for about 14 years. He's been a school teacher at North Union School District for about the last 10 or 11, I believe. He's married to a local Bancroft gal. They've got 5 children living in Bancroft. Ex-military and 5 years of service. He's got some really good technology experience. He's actually does that part of his teaching up at the school. So we're very excited to bring him on board. I think he's excited to start a new career. So we'll get him going here on August 1st. He'll go through the training. We've already got him enrolled in the academy, which will start January 1st, or excuse me, first week of January. Is when he'll leave for the academy. Update on Caleb Hill. Caleb is down at the academy right now. He's due to graduate on August 18th. Caleb's doing really well. He's top of the class academically, which I'm pretty proud of. And he's also one of the top shooters down there for the firearms competition. So Caleb's doing really well and sounds like he's having a real good experience at the academy. Update on patrol vehicles, 14 months it took to get our patrol vehicles. We finally went and picked them up on Friday. So I'll probably be putting on the agenda within the next month or 2 to start ordering for 2 more. Because it's probably gonna take another year to get home. So we'll start the process to get going for this coming fiscal year's patrol vehicles. Other than that, any other questions? We survived the
Good.
date.
Appreciate it.
So that went well. And otherwise, we're getting ready for the fair now.
Perfect.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
See ya.
We did vote.
Oh, yeah, we got a vote. I had a motion and a second on the floor. Everybody remember the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah.
Too much discussion. We are up to approve resolution number 7/11/2301 to draw warrants. I would entertain a motion to that effect. Jack,
No second.
Kyle, everybody understand the motion? Do a roll call vote, please.
Black,
Yes.
Nat,
Yes.
Whacker,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Jerks.
Yes, motion carried unanimous. Thank you. We are up to resolution number 7/11/2302, internal fund transfers. I would entertain a motion to approve that resolution. Art,
Jack.
oh, Jack did,
I'll second.
okay. I have a motion and a second for resolution 7/11/2302 for an internal fund transfers. Everybody understand the motion? Seeing no discussion, I would entertain
Roll
that
call.
we do a roll call vote.
Black,
Yes.
Nat,
Yes.
Whacker,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Jerks.
Yes. And our next agenda item will be on for tomorrow. We are up to approve the appropriate funding for FY 23-24 for homestead credit, military exemption, elderly and disability credit. Nick, you got any discussion on that?
That's,
Or I should say Judy. Jack moves to approve. Do I have a second?
that's,
Kyle? Do a roll call vote?
Black,
Yes.
Nat,
Yes.
Whacker,
Yes.
Stecker,
yes.
Jerks.
Motion carried unanimous. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Next, we are up to acknowledge the appropriated funding for ag land and family farm. Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make motion to approve.
Kyle, somebody like to second?
I'll second.
Josh, any discussion?
Could you explain this to me, just for clarification?
Um,
Oh, we got
Judy, do you?
Judy sitting there. Ag land and family farm. Credit.
To any properties that are over 10 acres or more. If there's contiguous land, that goes into account. But the auditor's office actually is the one that goes through and approves them all. We take the applications for family farm, and to qualify for family farm, a family member has to farm the land or or relative to it. It goes all the way down to, but it excludes cousins. So, but they have to apply for that one. So that deadline is November 1st. And that also has to be 10 acres.
So that's
So it's
not
a reduction.
cousins, but it is grandsons.
Yeah, grandsons and
Sons,
nieces,
daughters.
nephews,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
It goes all the way down to, but it does not include cousins.
Okay.
And like if it's an LLC, the shareholders, if they're not related, one shareholder has to have more than 50% in order for it to qualify.
My only question is, why does it have such a fine point? Why does it have such a decimal point there?
Behind the percent.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's just,
The applications that are.
Doesn't that come from the state? Yeah, that number comes from the state, so we don't,
Yeah.
It's
but
from the Department of Revenue.
it's,
Department of Revenue, yeah.
It's something that got passed through the houses in Des Moines and then they.
Above our
They
pay
put a
grade.
number on it and, you know,
Yeah, we approve it, but it's above our pay grade.
you know. Any questions? Other than that, I would, ask you to do a roll call vote.
Plath,
Yes.
Nah,
Yes.
Wactor,
yes,
Stecker,
Yes.
Jerks.
Yes. Everybody had a chance.
Actually, they probably have the percentage because the total is just a few cents under 10 million. So that's probably their dollar limit cap to it at the state level. So then they break it out by all the counties that way,
see that.
because they're only
Yeah, well,
46.
It was 10 million.
Yeah, they're 46 cents short, so that's why the decimal point's so fine to get it as close as possible without going over.
That makes sense.
Down, extension 5.
Got it. Yep. Mhm.
Is she coming over?
Are you coming over for the handbook? Okay, perfect. Sounds good, thanks.
Couple minutes in.
Why don't you punch Doug in? Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
He is 101.
Yeah.
Hey Doug, we're up to the handbook next. If you're coming out for that and then yours. Okay, yep, bye.
Yeah, he's gotta be.
Yeah, I saw his email.
Morning.
Yeah, have a seat. Yeah, have a seat. We are up to the handbook. I know you made some changes.
Well, we've been working on it for a while, and I guess I thought this might be a good opportunity, to discuss where we're at. And then I think we have a department head meeting on Thursday,
Right.
so we can keep on knocking this out.
We do need to have part of it approved before the payroll for the sheriff's office changes. So there are parts of it that we need to get approved.
Okay.
So,
So where,
because the sheriff's office did not their union, so they no longer have a union contract. Some of the things that were outlined in their union contract is not listed in the handbook. So those things have to be added to the handbook in order for them to be able to use those.
so the changes that were outlined on the iPad, we should just prove the sheriff's division of that.
Well, or I don't know how you want to do that.
That's your page 12. If you look under work period and overtime for jailer / sheriff. I hope it's on page 12, but you're page 12, because sometimes you start working, and pace it starts getting a little long.
Page.
Um,
Yeah, it is page 12 for me.
So that was input. We had a discussion with Roger, Lori, Bailey, Melissa, Tammy, and myself for that.
So are you asking for approval for just that section or
Well,
the
that's
whole
all we
thing?
can do.
For payroll I mean, because our payroll will be coming around.
Yeah. Cause I was trying to read through and follow all the stuff. There's with the questions and the comments and all that stuff. I didn't know if this was,
That's all on page 12, Kyle.
yes, yep.
So what
This-
else is on page 12? Or we can just approve the sheriff's.
There's the work period and overtime for EMS goes on to the bottom of page 11. Is that something that needs to be done before their payroll too, I'm guessing, or not?
When you guys did a payroll policy for them, correct?
Yeah, we did.
There is a staffing policy, yep, yep,
Yes, that's much.
right.
That,
So I think they're fine.
Yeah, that's a 28-day cycle, and it's,
The only
just-
thing that really is
the jailers.
is the jailers and the sheriff's part.
yeah.
There's other stuff in the document that was changed, but if we just approve that section as a addendum, I would probably.
So.
If they're, I don't know, but
It's section
there,
2.2.
can we just approve that?
Yeah,
Well, section 2.2 of the jailer sheriff, I think, I think there's still some.
Yeah, section 2.2 goes from page 9 to page 12.
I don't know that we can approve that entire section, but we can approve
we'll approve the sheriff's.
that sheriff portion.
Clarify.
Right.
So if I get a copy of that, we'll just
It's-
draw
yeah.
2 lines and approve that.
It's
section and
right.
sign it.
It's
Yeah.
right here.
Right. So it can go in the minutes. You have it written
Section
there,
2.2 of the jailer sheriff section, correct?
2.2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what you're thinking? I'm looking at like this little section.
right.
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're on the same.
Yeah.
Because I still think there's a lot of other discussion.
Yeah, and I think there's probably other things to discuss in there. I don't know if we're quite ready for all that, but I see if we gotta have that in the handbook for payroll.
Right.
That makes sense easily.
So what we're doing today is approving the sheriff's section 2.2 of
Jailers.
the handbook.
Yeah. I'd make a motion for that jailers and sheriff section to be added.
Section 2.2, do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimous.
In regards to the handbook, I was asked by an employee, for bereavement leave, not really what we just voted on, but for bereavement leave, is it all the same between road department and courthouse employees now with the new changes in the handbook, or is it all kind of a universal policy or?
I'm gonna need to rely on, because that's the moving target on this is constant. I mean, I can't hardly
Sure.
keep up with it.
Thing right now, they have 3 days. And the courthouse at 5, correct or no?
Depending on the relationship.
Current labor agreement for the road department. And I guess. I wasn't asked this question, I'm not part of the discussion, is it okay if I speak?
Yeah, and it's always been different, so I don't know.
Well, we removed those leaves of, those paid leaves of absence. We removed them from secondary road with labor agreement for that purpose. And now are relying on the handbook for those types of things.
Okay.
And that note went out to the road department in the July newsletter, so
Yeah,
the road department should be aware of that.
I was just asking for clarification, just to, yeah.
And the road department, if they had, we put in the newsletter, if they had questions, they were supposed to call our on, at least then I would talk with you. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm to be well versed with everybody's little, I mean, we're trying to kind of streamline this, but it's not easy.
There's a lot of pieces in it.
Yeah. So I guess I encourage you to look at it. But you can see the comments that we've done, you can see the changes that we've done. I by no means think it's perfect, but we've got to keep moving on it, otherwise it's just wasting our time, quite frankly.
I think we.
Any
probably
other
should-
questions for
I
Don?
know, I'm waiting for Derek, he was, got some IT policies, again, I guess we'll see what extent that is. I think there was some mention of the fundings, which will add that. A lot of it was just kind of some grammar and some policy and trying to get everybody similar, like with the comp time, things like that.
Similar, not
Similar.
identical,
What?
but not identical.
You guys can figure that out, then more power to you, but we run into things all the time. I mean, I would like to say that there's.
Yep. Answer your questions, Carl?
Yep.
Anything else for Don? No? Thank you, Don.
Thanks.
We do appreciate it, even though it's a never ending job.
Well, it's something that probably shouldn't ever be done. Just keep on looking at it, but yeah, to get all the moving parts is interesting.
Thanks, Donna.
Thanks. Maybe, for the sake of going through the rest of the handbook and everything and getting things updated, maybe we could take it a section or two at a time. I mean, it's a 36-page document. We could do it all at once, but it'd
Well, I think.
probably be easier if we focus on certain areas and update it as we go.
Well, the department heads and Donna are going through it, so
Yeah.
it just comes to us to approve what they want to change. So I don't know if we want to sit down and be part of the handbook.
Well, I mean, we set the policy, so we should probably review it fairly detailed to some degree.
Well, they're not coming with the finished product yet, so until they do that, we're probably not in a place to review it.
I think that's what they're working towards though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're not there yet, so
Well, it's probably never gonna be completely finished, but
well, it never will, but let them get something that they can hand to us that we can actually look at. We can review it each section at a time after they're done. That's not a problem.
that was just a thought I just had here, so.
If there is nothing else on that, we are up to discussion with Kossuth County Engineer on our annual evaluation. Morning, Doug.
Good morning, everyone.
Carter.
Okay.
Your name's on it.
Yep. Historically, evaluation was done every year around the last week of February, first week of March. And I felt being that it was missed this year, that it's still good to do. And so that's why it was on the agenda.
Everybody filled it out?
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody turned it in, Doug?
I've not received copies. I've received one from Jack and one from Roger.
I thought we were supposed to turn it today. I'm sorry.
Well, can't do the evaluation unless we have it done.
I guess I have some stuff wrote up. I could highlight a few things.
I've never done evaluation before. I thought that was the point of evaluation.
Well, usually-
going through that together in the.
Normally, it's all filled out beforehand. You turn it into the engineer and then he comes back with a tabulation of the average.
I see.
Okay, fine.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So
You want to start or me or?
Whatever order you, I guess. Is it, how do you want to do it, I guess?
You guys turn yours in or?
Well, we'll put an agenda for next week to review the tabulations that we put in.
Well, it's on the agenda.
I gotta go through it, I mean, I gave him, right, no, I don't, I mean, I have nothing. If that's the question about, I think he's doing a great job, it's a reason to not reappointing.
Did you have something prepared, Carter, or
So I guess the ones that.
Well, I filled out my,
did you?
my
If
sheet.
anybody's having an issue with him, I guess they're the ones that need to bring him up.
Yep. I'll open the floor up for Carter, go ahead.
You had no comments on.
I had no, I think Doug's doing a great job, and there's no reason to replace him or not reappoint him.
Well, this is an evaluation, not really a hire fired.
Well, but it's all part of it.
Oh, exactly. I guess let's go through the sections.
However you want to do it, Carter.
For number one, for administration of, secondary road departments. And I selected marginal management skills. The relationship between the engineer and the road department employees is rather poor. Morale is very low and employees do not feel heard or represented.
Pardon me,
I can read that again.
employees are
Employees do not feel heard or represented.
heard or represented, what is?
Their relationship with you is not ideal. And that's all I'm saying. The relationship between management and the employees is less than ideal. As far as,
Could I ask a question?
absolutely,
And where are you getting that information from?
well, you can, I visited with the employees.
Okay, do you ever tell them that my door is open and they should, if they have issues, they should come in and visit with me?
And they know that, but they have had difficulty with that in the past. I mean, you can
Well,
talk to,
it's
talk to,
different.
talk to any of the road employees, any of the employees.
It's difficult. It's difficult for me to be criticized for not acting on an employee's wish when an employee doesn't come to me, discuss that. So I hope you understand that.
I guess I'll jump in here, cause it's the thing.
Kyle, just let Carter finish first. You keep interrupting continually, everybody. It gets old. Let Carter finish. He had the floor.
Thank you, that's fine.
Yeah, well, they have to be comfortable coming to you as well. I mean, that's part of it.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
Well, again, my door is always open in defense of me.
Yep.
My door is always open and I do have employees that come in and visit with me.
Yep, I know.
And,
I'm just,
So,
this is my
you know, I
observation
don't know-
in the last.
I don't know what the specifics, and I'd be more than happy at Carter, if you want to come down and talk with me about certain employees, certain issues. I'd be more than happy to go to visit about that. There's always two sides to a story, and
Yeah.
I encourage,
It's not just one story though.
well, any story.
Yeah.
I'd encourage you to get all the stories.
Well, I think it's appropriate that a supervisor would go to that employee and go come into your office with them. This is not the way it works.
I mean, even in our handbook, we have
You don't go talk.
ways
to
to
and resign him for some of that. You need to take
Well,
take that employee.
Jack, let Carter finish his evaluation and then we'll go.
if an employee does not feel that they're being heard or represented, that is why I'm hearing from them. That's all I'm going to say. For that.
Keep going,
Um,
Carter.
Okay, it's number two. I got engineering duties, road and bridge plans, and then, number five, supervision and construction. Supervision of construction and maintenance of secondary projects kind of go together. Projects are complete with some problems. some delays, but delays in projects are not always able to be helped. Not your fault. But it is the job of the engineer to ensure quality work in a timely manner. And then timing is everything, of course. As far as, one question I do have is why do we, when we're seal coating roads, why does that happen so late in the year compared to earlier, in the year? I mean, it should be done now, really, and just gets done so late, and then the weather, well, it freezes and it doesn't turn out a good finished product. I guess Laverne Section Road is an example of that. I'm just curious, why is that usually done so late in the year? I've, in the past years noticed that. And I'm not blaming you for all that. I know companies are difficult to work with sometimes too, but I'm just asking that.
Well, when we let projects, no matter what we do, we have a time limit on that. Now, we can certainly tell them they can only work 2 weeks in July. However, prices will be a lot higher because we are limiting their work schedules. So we do have a time.
Sure.
That we want that work done. And whoever the low bid is, we are working with them, so.
I guess.
And again, that's a subject all over the state of Iowa.
Yep.
And you can talk to the Iowa DOT contracts, they put time limits on projects as well. And the longer, the wider work period that you have, the better price you're gonna get, because you're gonna be able to have multiple contractors bid a project. If you narrow it down to 3 weeks in 1 month, it'll be very difficult to have a competitive bidding process.
Well, I feel it maybe it'd be worth spending a little extra money and having that rather than having to redo it more often or the following year. I mean, I guess there's examples of that around even my district, but just where things have to be redone because it's done so late in the year and the weather didn't cooperate. And the weather is hard to predict, but at the same time, we all know that when stuff starts getting cold and freezing, but.
I don't know of any field coat work that had to be redone. We've had to go out or some turning radius.
Well, it didn't turn out with as good a quality of finished product because it's done so late in the year is all I'm getting at. But, then as far as, engineering duties, number 3, road maintenance, road maintenance is being completed. I think we have a lot of great employees in the road department who do an excellent job. An annual report, budget and program. I feel well prepared. I feel this is your greatest strength. As you're very detailed and organized and putting together charts and spreadsheets and for different presentations and other things. Working, number 6, that we already touched on 5. Number 6, working relationship with the Board of Supervisors. I put that average informs board of projects. I do appreciate greater effort to inform the board of the board of expected out of the ordinary expenditures as the years progress so far. However, the working relationship between the engineer and the board, I will say, is tense and unhealthy. And as between the engineer and the board as a whole. I didn't really appreciate the avoidance and hiding, or not hiding is the right word, but avoiding the discussing the evaluation and the contract earlier this year. Just for the sake of personal employment and gain, I mean, for going the next several years. So I will say that, but. Number 7, public relations within the community, state. And I did put interactions not positive or helpful, that the public has been very disgruntled with me over the engineer's office This relationship between the engineer and public was one of the more primary and common concerns as I was out door knocking last fall. I mean, following the big things, you got windmills and pipeline and all that stuff, but for one of the primary concerns was doing something about the engineer's office or the engineer and the contract. And so that I still get comments today that people having not good experiences and with the engineer's
With
office.
me? When the public
With-
deals with me,
Correct. And
I'd like to hear, I guess, some of those specifics, Carter, sometime if you would come down, because I don't know, when I work with the public, I think that when everything is, when we leave, we both have an understanding. So it doesn't mean that they get everything that they want, but I try to communicate with them. So I would really like to hear some specifics on that.
An overall evaluation, I put, effective and competent, in the weaker than average based on the relationship between the engineer and our secondary road employees and concerns with the public. And that's my evaluation.
Josh? Are you prepared?
Yeah. So for the first section, administration and secondary roads department. I just, for lack of not having, a good section, selection, I just put deficient, appears that discussion with some employees, that is not open and free from retaliation. It has been stated that employees are not allowed to discuss issues with the Board of Supervisors. But that's been a conversation that's been had before. Anytime an employee speaks up, it seems as if there is some sort of retaliation. And I don't know, how accurate this is, but
Josh, you wanna stop a minute? We have the front of us. Yes, requested to go into closed session by chapter 21.5.1. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So move.
What? Do I have a second to go into closed session? I'll second it. Do a roll call vote, please.
Platt,
Yes.
Matt,
No.
Wactor,
There's,
Jerry,
yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
We will go into closed session.
Right.
May I go get documents?
Yes, please. Go ahead. We're not in closed session, man.
No, you need to.
He's gonna